So we have 3 months left of the year. If you're someone that's like, where has the year gone? Oh my God, what have I achieved? What has been done? And you're, I don't know, panicking a little bit, worried that you haven't made the most of what you wanted to do this year, this video is for you. My name's Dina. I'm your straight talking life and career coach, specializing in career change and career development. In this video, I'm going to tell you about 3 things. We're going to cover 3 things. One of them is how you shouldn't just write off the year. So how the write-off mentality is quite dangerous. Number 2, I'm going to talk about how actually 3 months is an amazing amount of time. It's the best amount of time for you to set goals. And number 3, I'm going to give you a few ideas of what you can do in this remaining time to really set yourself up for success for the next year. Okay, so the first one, the dangers of the write-off mentality. The writing off mentality is a bit like the diet mentality. You know how they always say, diet starts on Monday, and then you do start the diet on Monday, have a good Tuesday, and then Wednesday, someone says, let's go for drinks, and you do. Someone brings in a cake because it's a birthday, and you have a little bit of that, and then you end up in a kebab shop, and then you're like, well, that's it. This week is a write-off. I'm stopping the diet, starting it on Monday, and then, just ignoring Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, doing whatever. We do that also with our goals when it comes for the year, right? We might get into a big groove in January and February, and then something, usually actually way before March, but something happens to throw you off kilter, and then you just get swooped up with the year. It could be really tempting to also write off the year and say, I'm going to start in January, but I'll tell you why you shouldn't be doing that. When you put the blinkers off, when you have that mentality like, that's it, I'm going straight into November, December, and then not even thinking about ambition, goals, or anything until January, you are blinding yourself to opportunities that can come in places that you can least expect it. Birthday parties, Christmas drinks, anything like that. Honestly, I have had one job just because I went to someone's birthday party, not directly because of that, but I was just chatting to people and then saying I was looking for a job. And then a friend's wife at that party, who I'd never met before, she's like, well, we're hiring. She described the job, and it was nothing I would have ever typed in to LinkedIn, but she described the job and I was like, I can do that. And then I got a job just from attending a party. Okay. That's how easy it can be to change jobs, honestly. But you have to be looking, you have to be talking, and you just so open yourself up to opportunities. The other reason not to have that write-off mentality is when you do say, I'm going to write it off, then you start coasting. You're like, I'm not going to be making any goals. I'm not going to be proactive until January. If you're not proactive, you're passive. Then what happens is you are training yourself. You're getting really good at being passive because you've got 3 months until January. It's like a muscle, the activeness and proactiveness. If you don't use it, there's good slack. Okay. So don't do the passiveness. Don't just say, hey, it's out of my control now. There's nothing I could do at the end of the year. Take some control, take some action. I mean, you're watching this video, so you already started the first step. I congratulate you on that one. Another reason why you shouldn't go into that mentality, it's very black and white thinking. What you're doing is you're feeding the perfectionist beast, the one that can only work from a blank slate. The new sheet of paper, the Januaries, the Mondays. That is what you're training yourself to do, to only function and do well in fixed conditions with certain circumstances. Because circumstances change all the time. What you need to do is be more fluid, learn to work with what you've got. If you slipped up on that Wednesday with your diet, fine. Never mind, pick yourself up and go on Thursday. The analogy I like to use here is imagine road trips, right? Imagine you're going from London to Bristol. And imagine that anytime you took a wrong turn along the road, you go back and you start again. What kind of fun road trip would that be? You're just driving and then made a mistake and go start again. Driving it? No, we don't do that with road trips. So let's not do that with goals or diet or healthy living, anything else like that. Make a mistake, you carry on and you get to your destination. So what you want to do is not write the year off, but make the last stretch count. Point number 2 is 3 months actually is the perfect amount of time for goals. January is great. It feels like a fresh page, like I've said that. And what happens is we have like blue sky thinking. We shoot for the moon. We're like, oh my God, we can do this and this and this, which is great. I don't discourage that. That is wonderful. But it can mean that we set goals and then by the time it comes to mid-year, they can be outdated goals because we've changed. 6 months has happened, right? We change a lot in quite a relatively short amount of time. So sometimes 12-month goals, they feel outdated. Whereas when you do 3-month goals, they are not so big, not so grand. They're more realistic, more manageable, and therefore more achievable. And then the other thing that is amazing about this is if you like this way of working 3 months at a time, you can take it into next year. Nothing is stopping you from just making goals 3 months at a time. Businesses do that. They work with quarters and they will review a quarter and set quarterly goals as well. So this could be good practice for next year. You could find the strategy that works for you now. Now, should we talk about what kind of things that you want to be doing? Well, I'm going to give you some ideas, but you can do whatever you want. Like I say, manageable goals. And one great thing to do is actually prepare. Prep work is key. You're laying the foundation for a really good start for January. So the kind of prep work I'm talking about, especially if you're trying to change jobs or thinking about it, your CV, your LinkedIn profile, your portfolio if you're self-employed, get that done. Everyone I work with, when they start with me, they're like, oh, my CV, I have to do that. And it's this like task that they're lugging around like, oh, I've been carrying this task on for years and I haven't done it. Start chipping away at it now. And that way, you've done the hardest and nastiest task, because that's a big stumbling block with people when they want to find a new job. And so they go on to jobs boards and they might see some things they like, but then like, oh, I can't apply because my CV is holding me back. So that kind of prep work is really good to do. One of my favorite things to do is reflect on the year. And I start early because I want to take my time. That's why. Because you have to reflect on the whole year. And you can't do that in one sitting. Going through the year, looking back, getting your diary out, getting your schedule out, and just taking note of really good weeks that you had, or really good times, and saying, well, what was happening then? Was it people that you were around? Really looking at which people energize you, uplift you, and then which deplete you or drain you, or, and you don't feel great after. And that evaluating how you feel after engagements, arrangements, situations will tell you everything about yourself and where you will thrive and who you will thrive around. This kind of evaluating your time and your schedule is also really good for burnout prevention. So all you people, that's me included, who burn out, look back and see, okay, how did it happen? What led to it? What could you say no to next time? Some people don't like to reflect, but because they don't like to look failure in the eye, or because they think about it as a failure. They're like, I didn't do something. But the way I think about it is you're either winning or you're learning. They're both positives. So you've either achieved the thing that you wanted to achieve, or if you haven't, you can learn so much about how you work best. And that is going to be vital for those goals in January. If you want some few little reflective goals, is just to think, when were you in flow? When were you happiest? When were you not happiest? Simple reflections like that really do well. Other things you can do, get it on a course. So there's Coursera, EDX. You can sign up to Masterclass, or even Skillshare if you want to learn a new skill. Learning something gives you a lot of confidence. I have a course called the Career Clarity course, which takes about 2 months. And I used to launch it actually this time around about September, and then I launched it in October. So it's a 2-month course. And one year I do remember I had this lady who was like, oh, umming and ahhing about the course. She's like, oh, I really want to do it, but I'm away for some of the course, so I'll miss like a week or something. And maybe I'll just do it next time. I'll do it in January. And, when I've got a clear schedule, the next time you launch it. And I just said, we're never going to get a perfect run, but it doesn't need to happen. We don't need to do a course 100% to get value out of it. Value can come in the first lesson you do, and then that's it. We rarely have a perfect stretch of time where we're not going to be disrupted, overworked, or things coming up. So I just mentioned it to her. I was like, hey, if we wait for the perfect stretch of time to appear in our schedules, it's just never going to happen. And so she did end up joining, thank God, for 2 reasons. One is the following year I decided not to run the course. So she did wait. She would have missed out. The second reason is because my course is all about helping you work out what you want to do next in your career. And it's a process of self-inquiry, self-discovery. You go through strengths and values and things like that. And so that prep work that she did really helped clarify exactly what she was going to do when she was changing her careers, which was the plan for January, and how she was going to do it. And so it helped her prepare. And then what happened is when she got to January, she went straight into action. Normally what happens, or sometimes what happens, is we get to January, and that's when we do the planning stage. We decide what we're going to do. So it's quite a slow start. We're planning, and then we get into action. But because she did the planning before, then when she got to January, she could just do it. So that could be something you could do as well. You could do the research, the planning, or you obviously can do my course. It's there and available for you. Do the thinking ahead of time. Do the thinking for January ahead of time. Networking and building relationships. Autumn is a fantastic time to network. Think about it. Like, no one networks in summer. Everyone's away. January, yeah, there's some event networking opportunities, but there's people that are just saving money, so not going out as much. Prime networking times are February, March, September, October, November. When I say networking, I know you might be picturing just a networking hall name tag and people just selling stuff or whatever. Just really bad conversation. But what I've been my networking is go to any events or talks that inspire you. Things about confidence, there's things about skills, branding, how to start your side gig, anything like that. Find any one of those, go there and chat to people. It's that simple. Go and enjoy yourself and meet new people, challenge yourself to just talk to someone. Because there's so many good things that will happen. It's a break from routine, a new place, new people, new ideas, freshens up your perspective so much. The other thing is I said building relationships. What we get wrong about networking is we think is just asking people, or selling ourselves or asking people for something. Networking is actually it's about giving and receiving. It is relationship building at the end of the day. And so start building those relationships. Check in on an old colleague, see how they're doing. Suggest going for coffee or going for a walk, and just mention that you're looking for work or wanting to change or whatever it is that you're going through. Mention it, because I tell this to all my clients. A lot of opportunities are not on the internet. They're not on the jobs board. They are through word of mouth. So the more you can start just talking to people and telling them what you want and what you need, the more chances are that you will stumble upon a fantastic opportunity. So those are the ideas. You have still got time to really end the year on a high. You don't even need the big goals. Small steps, small manageable goals. Get those in the diary, get those done, and be really, really proud of yourself for making the most of 2023.